The county had a moral obligation to engage the community in this decision. It failed to meet that obligation in spectacular fashion. The county should consider other locations in commercial and industry districts, sites that do not impact residential neighborhoods. Some will argue that this project will create jobs. We believe that Slavic Village, that's North Broadway, really needs is more impactful county, city, and private investments, not taxpayer-funded enticement to attract bail bondsmen and payday lenders. Cleveland ranks #1 in the county for child poverty. Don't allow the kids in one of the city's poorest neighborhoods grow up in the shadow of a jail. By doing so, you would be doing them be sending them a terrible message.
Any questions?
Thank you. Yeah, questions?
I understand you're against it. Could you
Yeah.
put in your own words why?
Yeah. So I'll speak briefly, then I'll pass it to my colleague, Earl Ingram. Being a resident just within this neighborhood, working here with the kids that we work with, by them seeing that in the neighborhood, it's like a forecasting of what's for their future to come. So that it's just no place in a residential neighborhood just to have a jail here. Kids walking by it, seeing it, it's just no real place for it to be here.
Is that, no, I'll ask you.
Yeah.
No problem.
Is that it? Are you concerned, are there dangers in having a jail here? Is that part of it too?
Yeah, it's terrible dangers and just the message in general. So the message you're sending to young people around here, if they walk and see that, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're more likely to not necessarily engage in certain activities, but it just the messaging in general encompass it just doesn't send a good message to have it in a residential neighborhood and one as small as Slavic Village is, and kind of like we briefly spoke, just it being one of the poorest zip codes, it just doesn't do a good service within this neighborhood.
I guess and either one of you could take this question.
Yeah.
I understand the messaging part of it.
Mm-hmm.
What about the physical part of it? Are you concerned about a danger of people that are in this jail being bussed back and forth to the Justice Center, to the courthouse, getting loose in the neighborhoods near the club in these neighborhoods? Is that part? I'm not insinuating
Yeah.
it is part of it. I'm asking you if that's part of this as well.
I can take that. I mean, obviously we understand that's always an option, but more importantly, like Joe alluded to, the symbolism that a new jail structure would mean to this community would further enforce that our young people aren't worthy of value and investment. Our community as a whole would stand to lose millions of dollars in potential future investment, which can drastically change the futures of these young people. We have to, as leadership here in the city, begin to put our actions behind our words and stop telling kids that they're the future, yet the only new properties, the only new construction, the only new facilities that they see in their neighborhoods are those that are symbolism of incarcerating them and of something that doesn't lead to the bright futures that we know that they can have. So as a resident, as a youth professional, as an educator, it's very frustrating to see the lack of transparency that has happened throughout this process. It's very frustrating to see that we continue to have to speak to these same actions time and time again in our neighborhoods. I think it's time for Cleveland as a whole to push for change. I think it's time for Cleveland as a whole to get on the same page with that.
Have you spoken to the county at all about this?
Obviously, at this point, we're here today. We're speaking with you guys, which we appreciate everybody being here today. We have petitions that are in play with local residents here in Slavic Village to oppose the building of this new facility. We also have sent out letters of support from different community partners and organizations, also in opposition of this structure being built in our facility, and just rallying the troops as well as our young people. When I say troops, these are the young people that we're servicing each and every day, and we are pushing them constantly to be involved in the processes that affect their day-to-day lives, not just on a national level, but on a local level. This is yet again another example of that.
What do you know about the process? There's multiple sites that they're still working their way through. Have you talked to them about these specific sites? Have you shared your concerns with them? I understand the petition process, but what do you know about their process and when they're expected to pick a site?
So I can speak on just briefly the initial process in general that we just weren't involved in. So, I mean, we don't know too much about it just because as a community we weren't involved in it. I was informed by another leader within the community to jump on the first initial call that was after like the holidays. That, you know, it gave a little bit of insight of kind of what's to come and where they're looking to pick, but not enough to where we were involved that we could get, you know, community here and actual residents to kind of speak up and speak their mind. So it's been a lack of communication. Therefore, that I've seen.
We've also had conversations with representation from for Councilwoman Mauer, as well as Councilman Starr, as well as other community partners with Slavic Village Development, Mr. Chris Alvarado and Earl Pike at University Settlement. All of us just putting our minds together to see what we can do to deter this from happening in our community. It's to my understanding, as we left off in the last call, that they're pushing to try to name a site as early as first couple of weeks of March. So we definitely need to have a sense of urgency in looking to just dismantle this endeavor taking place in our community.
What do you want to see the ultimate outcome be here? Just pick one of the other sites that they're considering, or do you have a different sort of message for county?
If you don't mind, I think the ultimate outcome for us is to see this be built in a place that isn't residential. So this isn't a situation where we're looking to protect our neighborhood. We're looking to protect all neighborhoods. The children of the city of Cleveland belong to everyone in the city of Cleveland. It's up to all of us to look out for their well-being and their futures. There will be other locations that I'm sure that county leadership can find that is not in residential neighborhoods. I think just us as adults and leaders, we can understand the symbolism that's placed behind that. So this isn't something where we're fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for all the kids of Cleveland.
Yeah, I second that to a T.
Along with that, there was talk that if they didn't choose this site for the jail, they would use it as a container storage facility instead. Would you be opposed to that option as well?
I personally would be, and I'll pass this off to Joe after I finish. I personally would be. When you think about the $500 million that's potentially looking to be invested in the facility, I think all of us can think and just dream about how much $500 million can mean for the young people of the city of Cleveland. A storage unit, container unit, isn't anything that's helping spark bright futures. It isn't anything that's, once again, speaking to the level of investment that we're looking to make into the young people in the city of Cleveland.
Yeah, so more youth-serving organizations, things that are helping with rehabilitation, things of that nature would do, you know, the community a great deal of service opposed to a container site. So
we're in a time right now where we're struggling to keep educators in our school buildings right now, and we're conversely having a conversation about spending $500 million on a new jail. Although we definitely understand the need to humanely house people who are incarcerated, we definitely don't think that that level of investment should be put towards that facility with such a lack going towards, like I said, educators and young students, young scholars here in the city of Cleveland.
So, gentlemen and ladies, unless there are any further questions, I don't know that we have any other information that we want to share today, so.
Could you say and spell your names for us on the record so that we can see which one is which?
Yep. Go first.
Joseph, Joseph, Anthony, Anthony, Great House, Great, house like you live in, the second.
And Joe, you are
Director of this location where we're at right now.
My name is Earl Ingram. I'm the club director at the St. Luke's Manor Boys and Girls Club. Spelling of my name is E-A-R-L for my first name and I-N-G-R-A-M for my last name.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. And if the petition cross your hands, please sign it
Yeah,
for us.
please
We will
sign.
greatly appreciate it.